Hi, welcome to the Geek Legion of Doom, and this is going to be my update video for July 2023, and I've got a little bit of kind of disc stuff to show you first. I'm not a big buyer of like things, if that makes sense, merchandise, toys, kind of accessories and stuff, but occasionally I do partake, and I bought this Ghost Rider action figure that comes with a bike. I'm actually a big fan of Ghost Rider. It's one of my favourite kind of comic book characters from back in the day. So this is the Johnny Blaze, which is the original Ghost Rider cycle, in a kind of like I think it's 3.5 inch size figure, which is about to go as a Star Wars figure, and you get the bike and everything. And I saw this; it wasn't as expensive as one might think. So you know, yeah, I picked it up. Like I said, I don't get. I haven't got any other ones of these. There's a couple of other characters who if they do, I might pick up. But so far, this is the only kind of like one of I thought, oh yeah, definitely I'll get that. And I quite like the kind of the basic kind of like sort of comic aesthetic that it's kind of got, not kind of too over detailed and looking a lot like the actual kind of comic illustrations and everything. So yeah, so that is the Ghost Rider. The next thing is the most expensive item that I've bought this month, and that's a parking ticket. Yay! So, yeah, because we all love that. Big fan. So much so, I got a second parking ticket, because I got to collect them all. So, yes, these were my most expensive purchases for the month. Anyway, on to the actual kind of discs. I found this Event Horizon. This is a DVD box set, and I found this out in the wilds, second hand in a shop, and it was quite inexpensive, I've got to be honest. So it's missing the J card. That's the only thing it's kind of missing on this particular one. But other than that, it's a nice little box set for a film which I really enjoyed. I actually saw this at the cinema, but I do not currently own. So I thought I would pick it up. And inside you get like this kind of, looks a little bit like a kind of CD case. And obviously you've got your discs in there. And there's also a kind of, like a booklet, which has got various information and photos on. It's a UK release, this one. And obviously the main feature here, you've got this quite like a robust sort of plastic sort of style casing here. So yeah, it's a great movie, and it was a pretty scary one that I saw at the cinema. And you know, I was tempted with the Blu-Ray Steelbook that even inside. How good's that? Like the inside, the actual casing there. Like I think it's good. Yeah, so I didn't get the Steelbook, but yeah, I'm pleased I got that instead. So a couple more DVDs. So if you've seen other updates, you'll know that I have been buying up sort of Bat-related horror films. I just thought I'd go on a little bit of a Bat-related binge, and I've watched one of them so far, which I've recorded a review for, which should be out, I think, or around about now. But anyway, this one is The Roost, which was the one I haven't seen. And this is the UK edition. Yeah, so I've picked this up, and I will watch it, you know, at some point. I'll pop a review on. Pretty cool cover here, I have to say. So yeah, so we'll see what the Roost is like. Next up is Blood Moon, and this is a horror movie that I have actually now reviewed on the channel, so if you want to see what the actual film's like, you can kind of check out the review. But it's actually a very good werewolf movie, set in kind of the Old West, with some decent kind of practical effects. It's a little low budget for some, but I actually was pleasantly surprised with this. This was a blind buy, and this is the sort of the reasons why I like doing, you know, this channel and kind of looking at kind of you know, the B movies and stuff, because you'll come across little nuggets, little gems like this one. This was a really good movie. So if you're a fan of werewolf films, I would check this out. And so there is a review of it. Next up is the Lustful Dead, which is a DVD again. Now this one I think is like a homemade film, which has been made by these people and then kind of sold through eBay. It was £1, and is a found footage review. I haven't watched it yet. I've got the feeling it's going to be extraordinarily amateurish. It's to do with necrophilia. So yeah, probably not a taste issue for some perhaps. I mean, it's got a BBFC logo, but I reckon it's I don't reckon it's a proper release. I think it's just like a kind of, you know, independently produced one, shall we say. I get around to watching it, but yeah, it's some sort of found footage horror film, so we'll see. Next up we have Demonic Possession, or at least that's the title of the movie that I've got. It's actually better known as Dark Floors. I've done a review of this one. And this features the band Lordi, who are kind of like a heavy metal band that kind of dress up like monsters, a little like Gwar. And this is a kind of a movie that features them as kind of antagonists. These people kind of go into a hospital and get just transported to a different dimension. Lots of kind of cool practical monster effects. A little bit of a nonsensical story, to be honest. But yeah, there is a full review of this one. And I think this is like a Dutch Blu-ray. Next up, we have the Iron Warrior, which is actually the third in the Ator films. And out of all the Ator films, this is actually my favourite. Now, I was kind of waiting out on a media book or something along the lines of that, because there have been quite a few kind of like sword and sorcery media books that have been put out in Germany and stuff. But so far, they haven't put out any of the Ator films. I've got the first Ator film on... I think it's a Dark Force release, and I've got the fourth one on VHS. The second one I did have on VHS. I don't have it anymore. But this is the third one, and it is my favourite. It gets a little nonsensical, to be honest with you, if we're really being too picky. But yeah, it's a fun kind of cheesy fantasy flick starring Miles O'Keefe, who played Ator in 3 out of the 4 films. Next up we have Scare Campaign, which is a movie that I reviewed some time ago, and it's kind of to do with kind of like pranks, and you know, when these kind of pranks kind of go wrong. It was a pretty decent movie. Again, I've done a review of this one. This one comes in a kind of a slipcase. There you got your Amaray there. So this one put out by sort of Koch Media. Yeah, it's a fun little movie. I think I rated it pretty highly, to be honest, and I came across this this Blu-ray, so I thought I would pick it up. Next up, we have Captain Marvel on the Mondo Steelbook. Now, I've soured a little bit on Marvel, if I'm honest, so I'm not prepared to spend like the big bucks when these kind of releases come out new, unless I really kind of, you know, want to get a specific edition, something which so far hasn't happened. So I've waited until they've reduced in price, and this one I actually came across on eBay for like £20. So, you know, I picked it up. It's still sealed and everything, and that's what I'll do. I'm not going to spend like 32 quid or whatever it is they were brand new, because I've got them about 5 times each, the films, and like I've said, I've kind of like souring a little bit on the kind of the Marvel films, but I do want to pick them up. I just don't want to spend the sort of like all the money on them. And the same thing goes with this one, which is Wakanda Forever. This was actually reduced on Zavvi to 26 quid, and I think this was like 50 quid when it came out. And this is their kind of collector's version of the Wakanda Forever Steelbook. So yeah, it was just over half price. So that I thought, well, you know, that's fair. I'll pick that up then. And I didn't mind Wakanda Forever, actually. I didn't think it was a bad film. It wasn't one that I've revisited, to be honest, but it wasn't a bad film. And to get this, you know, I am a collector of the Marvel films, and like I say, I just don't want to spend mega bucks on them. So I'll happily wait now until they've got down in price, and that is what I'm doing with the likes of, you know, Quantum Mania and the Guardians of the Galaxy. Next up, we have a steelbook for The Devil Inside, which is a kind of found footage demonic possession movie. And I watched this a little while ago. I don't think I did a review on it, however. And this was one of the films that I watched. Now, it made me think about, as it's presented in films at least, demonic possession. And I'm like, so what do these demons actually want? Once they kind of get hold of you, I mean, what is their end game? I mean, why kind of make a spectacle out of yourself and kind of invite an exorcism? Why not just kind of keep quiet and like not be so obvious? Just like maybe I'm kind of thinking too much, right? But anyway, a fairly good kind of found footage demonic possession movies. I like both found footage and demonic possession movies. So yeah, I saw this one again on eBay for pretty cheap, so I picked it up. And the final purchase, you might ask yourself why. This is Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and this is the French steelbook. And I didn't particularly like the movie, if I'm honest. But, you know, you don't often see, like, releases like this for B-movies. Especially, like, low-budget, kind of British, independently produced B-movies. And so I kind of, like, I don't know, I was just tempted to pre-order it, to be honest. And I sort of, and I kind of did, and it was literally, it was months ago when I pre-ordered it. This is the French version, which comes with some cards and a poster. There's a German version, which the background is glow in the dark, which probably is maybe a little better, to be honest, although it's the same image. It's not a great movie, but I just kind of like, it was just like unusual to have a steelbook for a film like this. And I do think it's kind of like a, for a B-movie sort of fan myself, it's kind of just like an interesting thing to have, really, more than anything else. I don't normally would buy films that I probably would never watch again, but it's kind of a cultural milestone in B-movie kind of, you know, way, to be honest with you. And, you know, I quite like the look of it, at least. But, yeah, I was kind of like toing and froing about it. But I thought, you know, I would pick it up, and maybe I'll give it another rewatch. Anyway, so that is the pickups for July. Probably spent more than I was intending to, I have to be honest with you, in July. But there you go. What did you think of the pickups? Any kind of ones that tickle your fancy? Do let me know, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.